Hi everyone, and welcome to our session, Solve Oversending a Message of Line Official Account with Data Science. Your speakers are Nishite from Data Science Team and Yoshinaga from Machine Learning Solution Team. I assume you might have felt that messages from Line Official accounts are too many or even annoying. Frankly speaking, I share the same view. In this session, we will explain how we are leveraging data to solve this issue with a focus on the official accounts operated by Line. We hope the session will be useful for you. This talk is divided into 4 parts. First, introduction to our organization, Data Labs. Second, the background of this issue and the direction to solve it. Third, building and deployment of machine learning models. Fourth, results and future prospects. Please let us introduce our teams first. Data Science Team and Machine Learning Team are both under Data Labs that is dedicated to analyze data across Line services. Data Science Team supports service teams to make decisions based on data, while Machine Learning Team plans, develops, and operates machine learning products. Data Science teams consist of 4 units. Team 1 for Line Manga and Line Music, Team 2 for Line Messenger, Line Stickers, and Line Points, Team 3 for B2C Financial Services, then my team, Team 4 for B2B Services, namely Line Official Account and Line Ads. In the machine learning teams, units are divided by their role. Developing machine learning infrastructure, developing machine learning frameworks and libraries, providing support for adopting machine learning services, and managing machine learning related products and projects. Yoshinaga, who will be talking about the dev part today, is a member of the Machine Learning Solution Team, and they have been always collaborating with other relevant teams to drive the use of machine learning products. Before diving into the topic, I would like to briefly explain what Line Official Account is. Please note, in this session, we will be calling it OA, the acronym of Official Account. OA is a service that enables users to communicate with business operators online, like communication with their friends. Now you see the screenshots of the admin app of OAs from left to right, message broadcast, one-on-one chat, and external API integration. With those various features, OA assists businesses in any phase of communication, ranging from user acquisition, engagement enhancement, and retention. In particular, broadcast is one of the OA's core features and widely used by our customers for advertising, branding, and any other purposes. This feature allows businesses to send a message to all account followers or only a target audience filtered by estimated demographic, or the elapsed days from accounting the order account or the other condition. Line continues to add new filtering logics upon business demand. Now, let's return to today's main topic. OAs of Line services have sent too many messages. Here, OAs of Line services refer to the accounts operated by Line and using the line in their account name, such as Line Sticker or Line Shopping OAs. This issue was originally raised by our management, so upon their request, Data Labs has started working on it. At the first step, we've investigated the current situation in order to accurately identify the issue and its impacts. We first conducted user surveys to grasp the issue qualitatively. Please take a look at the green pie chart on the left. We've asked users how they feel about the number of the OA messages they received. The chart indicates over 75% of the users feel they receive many messages. On the right, the orange pie chart shows whether users find OA messages useful or not. According to the result, close to 50% of users regard OA messages as useful. So in brief, the messages may be useful depending on content, but many users feel that the volume of a message is high. From a quantitative perspective, we've also visualized the number of messages received by user a day, user distribution, and open rate. So first, please look at the blue bar graph. The horizontal axis presents the number of messages received by user a day, and the vertical axis shows the number of users. The graph indicates a negative correlation between the number of messages received and the number of users. It also suggests that 95% of users received 30 or less messages a day with a mean value of 5 messages. Next, the green line graph below represents open rate. This rate is calculated by dividing the number of messages read by the number of messages received. The graph indicates the more messages they receive, the less likely they open messages. These results provide basic and objective insights into user attitudes and behaviors. Next, I would like to show you the result of the further analysis from the perspective of OA. In this chart, the x-axis presents the frequency of the messages sent by OAs, and the y-axis indicates the open rate. The users are divided into the two groups. The blue is those who receive the messages frequently, so users with a high frequency, and the orange represents the group receiving messages less frequently, so users with a low frequency. Due to 3 sets of data contained, the graph would be a bit difficult to read, so I would like to explain one by one. Now, please look at the OAs with a high frequency on the right. They are the accounts that send a message almost every day of the week. Open rate of the messages sent from this OA group varies by frequency of receiving a message. In other words, the users with a low frequency are more likely to open messages. Now, please look at the OAs with a low frequency. Although the open rate slightly increases in terms of users with a low frequency, the rate remains unchanged when it comes to users with a high frequency. How should we interpret these results? Now, please imagine that you are operating an OA, and probably in order to reduce the account block rate or ad spends, you decide to decrease the frequency of sending messages. However, the problem here is, as far as other OAs continue sending messages frequently, open rate will not improve in terms of users with a high frequency. Therefore, you alone cannot solve this issue. We need to recognize this as an issue of the platform itself. Based on those analyses, we have figured out that users do not open messages because they have received too many messages. So our goal is to control the volume of the messages sent while maximizing the open rate. So that is a direction. But specifically, how can we achieve that goal? One option would be charging OA owners more if they oversend messages. Another way would be to allocate more people to fine-tune message content, although this would raise operating costs. They are the two common approaches to solve any problem, so changing rules or relocating resources. However, in reality, changing rules would cause a conflict with external stakeholders, and relocating resources would require tough negotiation within the company. Here, we take a different approach, figuring out an IT-based solution that can resolve the drawbacks at once. Key is machine learning. Our strategy is to use machine learning models to predict whether a user will open a message or not. And we want to use the prediction to control the volume of messages to send by excluding users who are expected not to read the message.
I will take over from here. I'm Yoshinaga. As Mr. Nishite just mentioned, I'll be walking you through the message volume control system based on the message open rate prediction model. First, let me explain the machine learning engine, which is the core of our system. Here in line, in order to optimize the number of messages that users receive, we utilize machine learning. Here you can see the overview. We call this machine learning engine Open Score Generator. Based on the history of messages delivered from OAs to users, the engine gives a score for a pair of each OA and a user. This score ranges from 0 to 1, and a user who's more likely to open OA messages is assigned with a higher score. By sending messages only to those users above a certain score, we can make sure to send necessary messages while reducing the total volume. Why do we use machine learning? That is, as we have an enormous amount of data in line, it is extremely difficult to make rules manually. Line's monthly active users number more than 80 million only in Japan, and there are over 100,000 OAs. Thus, the number of messages sent from OAs to users can be very large. Across Japan, over 1 billion OA messages can be sent in a single day. In order to find rules automatically among this enormous data, machine learning is effective. Then, with this machine learning, how much data is used and how much is optimized? This slide shows the input and output of machine learning, features and target respectively. The left image shows features and the right shows target. As for feature, past message delivery history, open or click events, attributes of users and accounts are used. We use these features so that whether the message sent from an OA will be opened or not can be predicted by machine learning. In Open Score Generator, in order to capture the element that the users have proactively opened a message, opening a message is defined as a message displayed at 100%. Also, in Open Score Generator, the knowledge uncovered through our data analysis is utilized as a feature. As Mr. Nishite mentioned, the more OA messages users receive, or the more frequently they receive, the worse the open rate gets. Based on that, the number of the messages users received in the past and the days they received messages have been incorporated as features. There are two graphs at the top showing the relation between the number of OA messages received and open scores. The top left takes the number of messages from each OA in the x-axis, and the top right takes the number of messages from all OAs. You can see that the more messages users receive, the worse the open score gets. Please look at the lower graphs showing the relation between the number of messages users received over the last 1 week and their scores. We divided users into high-score users and low-score users based on a certain threshold. The bottom left shows how many days high-score users received messages, and the bottom right shows the same for low-score users. Comparing these two, high-score users are more distributed around lower number of days, while low-score users on higher number of days. These characteristics imply the potential improvement in our operation. If each OA or entire OAs reduce the number and frequency of message broadcasts, users' open score may improve, resulting better communication. As you can see, In Open Score Generator, the knowledge gained from our data analysis is integrated, and the system to improve our operation is also available. That was our machine learning engine. Next, I will talk about the system architecture to broadcast messages. This slide shows the overview of our system to ensure the proper message broadcast through Open Score Generator. This system was co-developed by 3 development organizations. First, OA-Dev that develops OA-CMS, which is a management tool used by OA message operators. Second, Bpart, a group develops messaging API, which sends message based on the request from OA-CMS. Third, our team Data Labs that develops Open Score Generator. Internally, we call this entire system Open Score Targeting. Let me briefly explain the flow of message broadcast. Please look at the OA-CMS at the bottom right. OA operators register the message for broadcast in OA-CMS. Upon broadcasting, the OA-CMS sends a request to messaging API. Based on the request, messages are sent. But to do this, the data on who to send is required, and this data is provided by Data Labs. This process is shown in the center of the slide. The target users are decided based on score, and we perform targeting broadcasts based on the score. Post-broadcast data is collected in our data analysis platform Hadoop cluster safely and properly to be used for our next message broadcast. Depending on the aims by OA operators, Open Score Targeting provides 2 broadcasting options. First, auto-targeting. Second is manual targeting. Auto-targeting is to send messages automatically to high-score users. Manual targeting is either high-score or low-score users are selected for targeted broadcast. As for the auto-targeting, operation is easy as it is automatic, but detailed adjustment is not available. As for the second one, operation is challenging due to manual operation, but depending on target users, contents of messages or frequencies can be modified in details. Furthermore, we also try not to use only machine learning to optimize everything, and we also integrate business logics into spec. For example, for the new followers with less than 7 days since following an OA operators would like to have a close communication, so we make sure that the messages are sent without fail. Also, if users haven't heard from one OA for a while, considering the low frequency of broadcast, we make sure that messages are delivered for certain. Also, you may have a concern that your personal information may be used by Line without your permission. On this point, we will protect your privacy while data will be properly used only to improve our services. This is so-called the protection of communication secrecy, which we seek users to agree with, and only those users who agreed will be the subject of data usage. Furthermore, even with an agreement, we will not see the contents of the messages in any circumstances. As you can see, we use machine learning for optimization when necessary and also integrate business logics in some areas so that we can provide secure and suitable message broadcast system. That is the end of the system architecture. This will be our last section. I will walk you through the results and future prospects of Open Score Targeting. This slide shows our preliminary simulation. According to this, we estimated that introducing Open Score Targeting to our top 5 OAs would reduce messages by 43% and achieve optimization of open rate. Actually, this means that we had a large amount of unnecessary messages delivery. Also, the simulation said that when all OAs adopt the system, messages will be reduced by 18% as a whole and would save the message delivery by 24% across Japan. This was our simulation. And let's look at the result. This is the result. In short, we couldn't see a large amount of message reduction, unfortunately. The broadcast marked in blue, where OA messages are sent to all following users, is partly replaced by open score targeting in purple and is declining. However, at the same time, managed audience broadcast in orange and broadcast via messaging API in green are on the rise, resulting in not much reduction in messages. And here's why. Our current open score targeting focuses on the reduction of messages and optimization of open rate, and it didn't cover conversion optimization. Each OA service team using open score targeting has their conversion target in OA message broadcast. However, with just optimizing message open rate, the system can't satisfy their conversion target in a short term. That's why service teams chose non-open score targeting broadcasts, such as API and managed audience, to achieve their conversion targets. Based on our current situation that Mr. Nishite just mentioned, we will not only have to reduce the total number of messages, but also have to consider achieving goals set by line service team. And with that in mind, we'll have to improve our model. From the next slide, I'll share with you our prospects on our system enhancement. These are the 3 enhancements we are considering. First, expanding the scope of open score targeting. By expanding the scope of open score targeting to unapplied area, we will continue to reduce the number of messages that users receive. However, only focusing on the reduction might hinder the business goals set by each service team, so we will make enhancements to improve the operation efficiency of our services. That is the second and the third point in the slide. I'll go one by one. First, we are aiming at customization of Open Score Generator. As a drawback of Open Score Generator, it doesn't optimize the user behaviors after opening messages. So, click-through rate and conversion to actual purchases should be covered by machine learning engine. We would like to develop such a model, and through customization, we would like to offer a system where service teams can use more easily and target users for better conversions. Furthermore, we are thinking of using content such as images. In Open Score Generator, an account and a user are paired up to be scored. And we didn't look at the information on what contents are sent. This is partly because we were questioning the effect of contents on open rate, but largely because system using image data was quite challenging from data science perspective. However, if we try to optimize users' behaviors after opening messages, message contents are critical. So from now on, we would like to take into account message contents to construct our broadcast system. Our goal is where users can receive more useful messages account operators can enjoy more sales in their services, and ultimately, LINE's official account platform will be used more frequently. We would like to achieve this win-win-win situation in our platform, although we are in the middle of our challenge, but by fully utilizing data science and making enhancements steadily, we would like to overcome this challenge. This concludes our session. Thank you very much for listening.